FTX, SBF, WTF. The former poster child of cool crypto, Samuel Bankman-Fried, is facing criminal charges. And I'm not talking about his well-known crimes of fashion. I'm Josh Stanford, I'm America's attorney, and I'm untangling the mess. Yikes. Behind the latest scandal rocking the crypto world. This case has been covered extensively by YouTube attorneys and crypto experts. Let's get something clear. I may love to hit the gym, but I'm no crypto bro. And while SBF's alleged crimes are all wrapped up in a shiny veneer of high technology, it's actually just a classic case of fraud and deception. Unfortunately for SBF, his case is over before it even started. Not sure if he knows that though. Stay tuned here to find out why SBF is legally dead. Rip in peace, SBF. When I say he's legally dead, what I mean is his press release where he says that he's gonna dedicate the rest of his career to trying to restore the money of the customers who lost money to FTX sounded a little hollow to me. It actually reminded me of a former Heisman Trophy winner, a guy you might remember as a double murderer. I'm talking about O.J. Simpson, who once famously said on the steps of the courthouse after being acquitted of 2 murders that he was gonna dedicate the rest of his life to finding the real killers. Oh, SBF, good luck finding that money that's lost. Samuel Bankman-Fried is the founder of FTX, which is just a nickname for futures exchange. It's a cryptocurrency exchange that grew, much like his hair, to be the 3rd largest in the world by volume. No, his hair is actually first, but FTX is big too. He also founded Alameda, a quantitative trading firm. Oh, I see your eyes glazing over. It's not that complicated. The California native with a degree in physics and a minor in mathematics from MIT is just 30 years old. Cryptocurrency is like fiat money, except that it's not real. Governments don't regulate it, and the value changes moment by moment. And it could come crashing down at any, whoa, it just did. In other words, it's not like backed currency in any ways. I would really love to have a joke to say about cryptocurrency here, but every time someone explains cryptocurrency to me, I think, oh, it just sounds like a strange religion. And I'm like, don't want to get too close to that. Now, I already mentioned that FTX is a cryptocurrency exchange. Let's break that down. A cryptocurrency exchange is essentially just a platform where you can buy and sell digital assets like Ether and Dogecoin. Now, Alameda, the quantitative trading firm also founded by SBF, traded and invested in crypto using different strategies, most notably arbitrage, which is when people take advantage of the difference in prices in different markets to buy crypto at a lower price and sell it at a higher price. Oh, so it's timing the market. What could go wrong? Customers began withdrawing assets from FTX after a report came out exposing that a lot of Alameda's biggest assets were in FTX's native token, FTT. This initiated a classic run on the bank that is very similar to the Enron collapse of 2001. So far, there are 7 total class action lawsuits against SBF. To be clear, these are civil lawsuits, but SBF is also facing criminal charges from the US government, which I will be explaining. The allegations in these civil lawsuits are basically the same thing over and over and over and over. Okay, you get the point. What do these civil lawsuits allege? They allege that he's lured unsophisticated investors into buying unregistered securities that were falsely presented as securities. Straight up fraud, unjust enrichment, which is, as you know, a situation where one person is enriched at the expense of another in circumstances which the law sees as unjust. Conversion, which is where one person converts another person's property for themselves. You know, that's kind of like stealing. Misleading customers through unfair and or deceptive practices. Violating RICO, which is an organized crime in which an illegal, coordinated scheme or operation is set up which enables the perpetrators to consistently collect a profit, violating California's false advertising laws and unfair competition laws, and fraudulent concealment, and of course, civil conspiracy. Whew, my word. I was beginning to wonder if there were any torts that he hadn't allegedly violated. And there are a couple. He never punched anybody in the face, and apparently he never wrecked his car into anybody. So that's great news. In summary, according to the lawsuits, SBF is a liar who sold illegal securities to people and screwed them out of millions. Whew. Oh, so it's not a big deal. Now, SBF FTX allegedly used $10 billion $10 billion of customer funds to prop up Alameda and also potentially buy real estate and donate money to political causes. If these claims are true, it's gonna be very, very easy to prove. And if they're not true, it's gonna be really, really, really hard to fake it. Now, SBF will most likely settle these lawsuits, but it's gonna be hard because the scale of the lawsuits are
massive.
I mean, when we start using the B word, that's billion, it's really hard to settle a case like that. And this isn't like he took a $1 from here or $1 from this other person. We're talking about hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars from these super smart people who invested in his business. And I'm not trying to pick on the victims here, but because I personally don't understand crypto, but everyone who I know who is invested in crypto tells me from time to time that they're having a really bad day. I just feel bad for him. It's unlikely, nay, impossible that they're gonna recover all the money that they lost. That's right. Now on to the truly fun stuff. That's right. I'm talking about the criminal charges. The US government has charged SBF with wire fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and conspiracy to misuse customer funds, and a few other charges. Actually, quite a few other charges. Check out this list. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud on customers. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud on lenders. Wire fraud on customers and lenders. Conspiracy to commit commodities and securities fraud. Conspiracy to commit money laundering. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. And to violate the campaign finance laws. Wow! The latest news on the criminal charges is that SBF has pled not guilty to defrauding investors of FTX. Pleading not guilty to charges which, if you pled guilty to, would put you in prison for decades is not surprising. It's not interesting. It's not unique. It's what he has to do. He literally has nothing. I am telling you here, if you don't already understand it, that sound that you hear,
those are the final nails in the coffin that have already been constructed for SBF.
I'm not joking. He is in a lot of hot water. And I want to tell you why. These financial crimes, they can be really hard to prove for the government if the people who are a part of the conspiracy close ranks. If they protect each other, well, you know, if they act like the mob, right? If everyone keeps their lips zipped, it can be really hard to prove intent. The government can prove that there's missing money. It can prove that money went places where it wasn't supposed to go. But if people don't flip, if the feds are not successful in going down the chain and flipping co-conspirators up the chain to testify against the people who are above them, it can be really, really hard to make a criminal case that involves conspiracy and for charges that involve intent, which all of these involve intent. What do I mean when I say intent? They have to prove, the government has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he knew that he was taking money from people and giving it to businesses or people such as himself or his co-conspirators who didn't have any right or title to it. It can be really hard to prove intent. The fact of a transfer is not necessarily enough to get a conviction. And that's why we gotta listen to the sound of nailing in SBF's coffin. I can tell you who is holding one of the hammers. It's Caroline Ellison, who was the CEO of Alameda. If you don't know who Caroline Ellison is, that's fine. But she recently pled guilty to some very serious crimes. And you know who else pled guilty? A guy named Gary Wang. Haven't heard of him? He's the co-founder of FTX. These two people were in Bankman-Fried's inner circle. They were his right hand, his left hand, his number one, his number two, his lieutenants. When those people flip on him, you're building a watertight, airtight, very, very custom customized coffin. There's really nowhere for SBF to hide on this one. It's gonna be tough. There is no defense that you can mount against the facts that are going to be presented by the people who worked closest with you, who not only admitted their guilt, not to mention that with Ellison and Wang cooperating with prosecutors, the prosecutors will be able to provide evidence and information to the jury that will prove beyond a reasonable doubt, actually beyond any doubt, that SBF is guilty. His case is in the ground. I mean, he's in the coffin. I don't know how to explain it. Like, criminals, they have a fighting chance. Like, we work in a system where you're innocent until proven guilty. Unless your co-conspirators blow the whistle on you, then it's over. You are sunk. It's over for him. And when he's convicted, he faces up to 115 years in prison. Think about that. That kid is 30 years old. Woo! I smell something. Oh, I think they're cooking up a plea bargain in the next room. Realistically, he's not gonna spend 115 years in jail. He's not gonna live that long. He'll probably be able to plead to 40 to 60 years in jail. Now, I hope that he uses that time productively, like, I don't know, working out. The irony, and this is a little rough, is that when SBF gets out of prison, we probably won't have paper money. We'll probably just be using crypto. But in jail, they use cigarettes. SBF's trial has been set for October 2nd, 2023. That's about 10 months out. Who knows what information will be uncovered in the meantime? I think there's probably like a 99% chance that he takes a plea deal. If he doesn't take a plea deal, I can tell you, first of all, he's gonna pay lawyers a whole lot to defend him. And secondly, they're not gonna get him off, and really, they're not gonna get him released from prison before he's like 60, 70 years old. 80 years old? Oof. It's gonna be rough. All right, now it's time for your pro se opinion. Despite the mountain of evidence against SBF, does he have a chance of winning his trial? Drop down in the comments below and let me know what you think. And if there is any crypto genius watching this video, what are your thoughts on the FTX fraud? Fun fact, Logan Paul may find himself under very similar criminal charges after the CryptoZoo failure. Haven't heard about that? Check out my video discussing that scam right here. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave me a like and you subscribe. Lawyer up. I'll be back soon with more legal analysis. See ya.